All right, let's talk some late night Niners here on a Friday night because some interesting developments with San Francisco with free agency set to begin on Monday. Today, Odell Beckham Jr. held a private workout out in Arizona for any team that wanted to attend, and the San Francisco 49ers, one of those teams. Obviously, if the Niners were to partake in this, go to that workout, they have some level of interest in signing Odell Beckham Jr., who did not play in 2022 because he was recovering from that torn ACL that he suffered in the Super Bowl 2 years ago. As for the other teams that attended that workout, it included the Carolina Panthers, who just moved up to #1 in that trade with the Chicago Bears in the NFL draft. His former team, the New York Giants, were also there. New England Patriots, his other former team in the Los Angeles Rams, the Arizona Cardinals, right in their backyard. They decided to attend that as well. Buffalo Bills have another need at wide receiver outside of Stephon Diggs and Gabe Davis. Could Odell Beckham Jr. go there? Kansas City Chiefs had shown some interest in OBJ last year, especially toward the tail end of the regular season, as did the Dallas Cowboys. But when it became clear that OBJ wasn't recovering all that well, that's when some of those other teams backed out. Getting back to that list of other teams who attended the workout: Minnesota Vikings, Cleveland Browns, Baltimore Ravens, New York Jets, and the San Francisco 49ers. With OBJ, as I said, did not play in 2022, but if he's holding this workout, he feels pretty confident that he's going to be able to play in 2023 and stay somewhat healthy. Recovered from that torn ACL, but it's not the only ACL injury that he's had in his career. Suffered another one with the New York Giants. And with OBJ, injuries have started to mount up a little bit over time for the 30-year-old former first-round pick in 2014 out of LSU. That year really burst onto the scene in a special way, because oftentimes, especially back then, right now with Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, these rookie wide receivers, Devontae Smith, another one, able to have pretty profound impacts during their rookie campaigns. But at that point, it was pretty rare for a rookie to come in and have more than 1,000 receiving yards. That's what OBJ did in 2014 out of LSU. That year, won Offensive Rookie of the Year. Throughout his career, a 2-time second-team All-Pro, 3-time Pro Bowler, started his career with 3 straight seasons of more than 1,300 yards each of those seasons. And then in 5 of his first 6 seasons in the NFL, he was able to surpass 1,000 receiving yards. Has not done that, though, since 2019. And now he has 2 ACL tears. The big question for the 49ers: can he still play? Do they have a need for him? What would his role be? And what would that production look like with the baggage, with the injuries, and all that? In this offense, alongside Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, George Kittle, Christian McCaffrey, Elijah Mitchell, and others, to go along with Juwan Jennings, who might get snaps taken away from him if OBJ were to sign with the Niners, it's not like he would be counted on to be that 1,000-yard guy. He'd be operating out of the slot, but you could get creative with your usage with him, put him out wide, and use him and get creative in a couple of ways. Jet sweeps, reverses, quick passes to allow those blockers to get out front so that he can pick up yards after the catch. He would be a good scheme fit. And when defenses are trying to game plan against the Niners, if you were to bring in Odell Beckham Jr., who are you focusing in on? Who are you honing in on? Brandon Ayuk has gotten better each year that he's been in the league since getting drafted in the first round in 2020. And this past year, surpassed 1,000 receiving yards for the first time in his career. If he was featured more heavily in an offense, I think Ayuk's a guy who could rack up 1,400 yards in the season because of his route running ability, the speed, the explosion, his footwork. Among the prettiest that I've seen from any wide receiver currently in the NFL. You have Deebo, who's the Yak King. He leads the NFL in yards after the catch since he got drafted in the 2nd round in 2019. George Kittle is a menace going down the seam. And then Christian McCaffrey, you can use him as a running back. You can use him as a slot wide receiver. So OBJ, it's not like defenses have to hone in just on him. It would be a tall task for defenses trying to plan against the Niners because they're not sure who to focus in on, who to double team. They probably can't double team anybody. Obviously, with the Niners, the question comes down to who would be throwing the football. Brock Purdy did undergo successful surgery here on Friday. It's expected to be about that 6-month timeline. He's going to throw in about 3 months or so, it could be Trey Lance. You saw how Sean McVay was able to scheme up OBJ after the Rams had traded for him back in 2021. And OBJ with the Rams, tail end of the regular season, was pretty solid. In the playoffs, started to turn it on and became a really valuable weapon in that offense. So if Sean McVay can draw up plays for Odell Beckham Jr., why can't Kyle Shanahan? The 49ers being at the workout is obviously telling. They have some interest in signing him. They're poking around, seeing how healthy he is, seeing how good he's going in and out of those cuts. They just want to see the player up close and personal because they haven't seen him up close and personal since the NFC Championship game a couple of years ago and haven't seen him partake in a game since the Super Bowl 2 years ago in Super Bowl 56. He is said to be healthy for the 2023 NFL season, and he wants to play. He wanted to play last year. There was so much buzz behind the Dallas Cowboys maybe signing him, and the Cowboys looked as though they were going to ink him to a deal. But when it became clear that OBJ wasn't going to be able to play and didn't want to rush back from that injury in the regular season, and he kind of said he only wanted to play in the playoffs, that's when the Cowboys backed off. That's when their interest waned to a certain degree. So with NFL free agency starting on Monday, this is a name to keep an eye out for if you're San Francisco. And I think that them being at this workout is pretty telling. Do you need Odell Beckham Jr. on this Niners offense? No, you don't, because of the semblance of weapons that we talked about a little bit earlier. And I like Juwan Jennings as a guy who can move the chains on a third down and be that security blanket. It seems as though anytime the Niners need a big play on one of those crucial money downs, it's Juwan Jennings able to step up. But who's the better player? Let's be real here. It's Odell Beckham Jr. over Juwan Jennings. Juwan Jennings has a little bit of a ceiling. In this offense, OBJ can certainly do a lot. But it's not just Juwan Jennings who we're talking about here, because the Niners did use a draft pick last year on the speedster Danny Gray, who can also get vertical. At the very least, this adds depth to the Niners wide receiver spot, and we'll see what happens. The Niners right now in an interesting spot heading into Monday's free agency period because of where they sit. Some defensive starters who they're probably going to lose on that defensive line and in that secondary, and then the offensive line, a massive question as well. But for the Niners to be at this workout with a whole host of other teams, it tells you that they're at least interested to a certain degree. One more time, that list of teams at the OBJ workout in Arizona: Carolina Panthers, New York Giants, New England Patriots, Los Angeles Rams, Arizona Cardinals, Buffalo Bills, Kansas City Chiefs, Minnesota Vikings, Cleveland Browns, Baltimore Ravens, New York Jets, San Francisco 49ers. That's 17 of the 32 teams in the NFL who are at that workout for OBJ. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. We went in depth on OBJ as soon as that report came out. Free agency beginning on Monday. Anytime a signing happens, we're going to be talking about it right here on the show. Going live, doing videos like this. It's the 49ers Report by Chat Sports, closing in on 80,000 subscribers. Hope you all have a fantastic weekend and a good Friday night.